Oh, I see that Business Central has a jobs module. Should we be using that? Right? So a lot of people call themselves job shops. I'd say almost half the time, the fact that you describe yourself as a job shop means that you should be using the jobs module. And the other half of the time, it means you should be using the manufacturing module. Right. Right? Because a lot of people think of themselves, they'll say, well, we're a job shop because we're only going to make this item when we get an order for it. Right? And you go, okay, well, that could be just a made-to-order manufacturer, not necessarily a job shop. So there's always an interesting conversation about how companies see themselves or describe themselves. And ultimately what it boils down to is kind of the structure of what you're building, right? So someone who is, let's say we build bicycles, right? Okay. But we have some standard model bicycles that we build. But then we're also going to work with some companies that want us to manufacture bicycles for them, and we're going to change up a few things. In that model, I have a bill of material, right? And it could be a multi-level indented structured bill of material. And maybe a routing process that says these are the steps that we're going to go through to do this. And I want to track labor and consume materials and so on. That very well could just be manufacturing. It could also be done in the jobs module. So you go, well, what the hell? How do I pick? How do I choose? What I would tell you is that there's a possibility that you could use either. However, the jobs module is really, think of a job as a one-off, right? It's a unique project that we're going to be doing. Okay. So a common example of that is someone who builds customized machines, right? That's a good use of jobs where...
Because each project is a one-off.
Each machine is unique. I'm building it specifically for someone's... Or my favorite example is a custom motorcycle shop, right? You come in with a design. You want this gas tank that looks like this put on it. You want these types of handlebars. I'm going to be custom manufacturing those handlebars. I'm never going to do it again.
Gotcha.
Right? You've given me these specs. So I don't want to, I'm not going to go through the process of building a detailed bill of material. Right? Why would I set up all these items and components? I'm gonna build them as I go through this job for this job. They're going to be consumed into the job, and I'm never going to do them again. Right. Right. So those are the types of things that become jobs. The other example is where you're going to be building something, and it's or maybe a group of something, and it's going to take several months, right? And the way you're billing the customer or when you're billing the customer does not associate directly with when you're consuming all your expenses and costs.
That's a distinguishing characteristic of a job shop? Correct.
Yep. So because we're on a shot of Business Central and a beer, a good example of a job would be that we're going to be custom building some new equipment for our newest brewery location. We're going to open up a brewery on the East Coast somewhere. And so we're going to need some custom designed tanks and pipelines and a bar. So some woodwork for a custom bar we're going to have built. We're going to need labor, right? We're going to have to send some of this stuff out for finishing maybe. Right? We're going to have shipping costs because we're going to have to ship this. We're going to have it manufactured and then shipped to this location. That's a good example of a job, right? Or an office remodel, maybe, where I have to purchase a bunch of furniture, but then I have to hire painters, electricians, other types of service people. And when I'm going to do this work, we're going to be custom building this brewery. We're going to want to collect a deposit from the customer, right? And this is where job and job WIP, work in process, comes into play.
Okay.
So let's say that what's it going to cost us to build out this new brewery?
Let's just say, I don't know, $1 million.
$1 million. That's going to be a nice brewery.
Yeah, very nice.
All right.
Go big or go home.
So it's going to be $1 million. So our customer, right, has said, hey, Ken and Michael, we want you guys to custom build. We need all this custom, brew tanks, pipelines, storage tanks, but also a kitchen, maybe some kitchen equipment and dining room, furniture,
dining room, exactly,
bar stools,
right,
a bar, some counters and cabinets and everything. So we're gonna set up a new job in Business Central, and we're gonna associate this job with a customer who's having us build this for them. And we're gonna say we go through all these numbers and we estimate these are all the materials we're gonna need, right? And I'm not gonna say, well, I'm gonna make this piece and this piece and this piece and this piece. I'm just gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna need 1,000 pounds of rolled steel for the tanks. And I'm going to need 150 2x4s and 100 4x4s, right? The raw materials that I'm going to need is what I put there as my order, or the materials that I'm going to budget. And then all my estimated labor, maybe some outside processes, some shipping costs. I put in all these different types of costs, travel expenses for my team to go out and actually install this stuff there, airfare and hotel and all that. I can estimate all those types of things as job costs on the job. And then when I tell the customers, hey, it's going to cost you $1 million, and you go, yep, they go, that's great, $1 million. And I say, all right, guess what? I need a deposit from you for $250,000, right? Because I'm going to have to order all this stuff, and I'm going to have to pay my people while we're producing it. And so I'm going to ask for a deposit, $250,000.
Sure.
Well, in the normal world, and if I'm doing sales invoices to a customer, when I invoice the customer, I have to bill them for something, right? And then I also I book revenue. Well, in this case, I cannot book revenue just because I charged you $250,000 on a deposit invoice. Okay. So that's where job WIP comes into play.